Howdy, folks! How are y'all doing? Cub here, and welcome back to another episode of our Tekkit Legends Let's Play Adventure, and I'm so happy that you guys decided to join me again. I know the last episode left quite a bit to be desired. We built like 3 things, and I talked about how to make a ruby pickaxe. Definitely wasn't the most interesting thing, but we're back here to actually get into the technical parts of Tekkit. And before we get started, let me show you a few changes that I've made. So first off, I added a door over here, so we have access to that little back channel much more quickly now. That'll come in handy. Also, there's fewer chests, you may notice. That's because I took everything with an EMC value and I tossed it inside the transmutation table, meaning instead of having to store these items in the world, in chests, in barrels, and I still recommend barrels for early game before you have the transmutation table. Definitely, they're real useful. But rather than having to do that, they're all stored inside of here. And if we need them, we can just plop, take them out. And best of all, we can get whatever we need versus actually storing a finite amount of diamonds. We can now get as many diamonds as we have EMC for. In this case, 26. So that'll come in handy later on. Now, of course, there's always going to be some items in the pack that don't have an EMC value, sadly. They will reside in this chest of shame. And that is sad, but we're not going to let it get us down. Today, we're going to be building some machines from a mod called Engineer's Toolbox, or Engineer's Toolkit, but I think it's Engineer's Toolbox, and this is an incredible mod. Now, if you want something more original to the Tekkit sort of mythos, if you will, we're going to be digging into Industrial Craft 2 in the next episode. Do not worry, we're going to have macerators and electric furnaces and generators and all of that good stuff before too long, but I wanted to look at this because I think that this is a better core mod. By core mod, I mean, you know, all of these mod packs sort of have like their core mod, their core processing and energy creating mod. In the original, the Tekkit Legends, or I'm sorry, in the original Tekkit Classic, it was definitely Industrial Craft 2. In the newer Tekkit, it was probably thermal expansion. This mod, I feel like, has the perfect... Well, let's just build it. All right, let's get into it. The first thing we're going to need to build is called a socket. Now, this is incredibly important to the mod. All right, so we got a modular socket here. It's kind of expensive, 2,000 EMC. Definitely not the cheapest thing, but we certainly have the materials to build it. And once we build it, we can submit it to the EMC, to our transmutation table, and then just use EMC to get more of them as we need them, versus having to build what looks like sort of a complicated recipe every single time we want one of these. And of course, all of the individual items also have EMC values, which is really cool. So first off, we're going to need to get a chest. We already have a chest inside of here, so we're just going to hop over, type in chest, and we've got our chest. Pretty nifty. Next up, we're going to need a bucket. Same thing. Now, I don't know if I have a bucket in here. I have a bucket of water, which unfortunately does have water in it, but we can fix that real quick by, oh, right, I have a basement. Well, we'll pop down into the basement, we'll place this down, boom, we have a bucket. We will we'll fill this back in, and we'll head back upstairs. Now, I don't have a particularly grand staircase. This is what we're working with right now. We'll work on this sort of back channel later. And now you can sort of see the lie of the back channel, where if you look through the door, it looks real nice, like we've got everything taken care of. Truth is, it's just this one patch behind the door. So there, you know my deception now. And we're gonna throw this the bucket back in here so we can get more later. So we've taught it to the transmutation table. It's been learned. So we now have our bucket and our chests. Now this is where things get a little weird. We're gonna need a machine chassis, an electronic circuit, and a power management device. And I've never built any of these things. But let's start with this one. This seems the most basic. So it's going to need either aluminum and gold nuggets, it's going to need tin or gold nuggets, it's going to need iron or gold nuggets, or it's going to need aluminum and copper. There's many different ways to build this thing now that I'm looking at it. And I think we might go with iron and gold nuggets, because that seems to be the most forward one. We already have iron, so we get our 4 pieces of iron out of the transmutation table. We're going to need to cook up some gold. Do I have any? Oh, don't tell me I don't have gold. I ought to have some gold. If I don't, I know of a way to get gold. If we open up our Philosopher's Stone here by tapping U and we backtrack a little bit, we can turn 8 pieces of iron into a piece of gold very quickly. Let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pieces of iron. We're going to throw them in down here. And we're going to add, and like I said, we only need 8. I don't know why I went ahead and grabbed 9, but we're going to get our gold ingots. And then we're going to, oh, we can also turn them back into iron if we wanted to, but we don't. We want to make some nuggets. And we're going to put those in here like so. We're going to add our iron. And we're going to get, oh cool, 2 machine chassis. Now, as you see, the machine chassis also have a EMC value. So we're going to throw one of them back in here so that later on, if we need more, and we certainly will, we'll have more. That's always useful. An electronic circuit is going to be gold nuggets and some redstone. And as you saw, there were some other recipes we could choose from, but we already have gold nuggets, so we'll go ahead and use that one. So 3 gold nuggets, 3 redstone, and I wonder if these are shapeless. No, they're not shapeless. So we're going to get 2 electronic circuits. Again, we're going to do the same thing we did last time. We're going to throw one up here. That way we can get more as we need them. Next up, we're going to need a power management, what did I say, power management device. This will also give us 2. So we can use redstone and gold nuggets along with lead ingots. We can use the same recipe with nether quartz. I wonder if we have any nether quartz. Do we? Let's see. We don't have any nether quartz, unfortunately, but we have other options to build this power management device. Let's take a look at those. Redstone and lead and copper, or copper, nether quartz. Okay, I think what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and use lead, because I believe we have some lead right inside of here. Now, it's going to be one of these ores. Now, this mod adds some weird ores that I'm not really sure which one of these is going to equal lead. Might be this one might be tin, actually. And one way to look at it is just hover over it, hit U. Yeah, so this one crushes into lead ore, but we can also smelt it into a lead ingot. And since it has an EMC value, we only need to smelt one of them. So we're going to get 1 piece of this Jalena ore, which is such a peculiar name for an ore. We're going to get 1 piece of coal. We're going to turn around over here, and we're going to put this here. Our coal has a value of 182. Real quick, let's check how much does a charcoal have. Charcoal has 32, and a log, any type of wood, I suppose we should put in there instead. Let's see. Okay, also has 32. I was going to see if there was an advantage, maybe, to, we should probably, now that I think about it, I'm going to go ahead and say we're better off if we make at least 1 piece of charcoal, and then that way we can throw that charcoal into here, and it's a lot cheaper to get more charcoal for these sort of one-off productions than it would be to get a single piece of coal. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to grab a piece of charcoal, throw that into the machine, boom. I'm also going to throw the lead in there, and we're going to get the lead right back out, and I believe I said I needed 4 pieces. We're going to combine that up here with the, oh goodness gracious, where's our recipe gone? Right, it's 4 pieces, 2 gold nuggets, and 3 redstone. Now, do we have any gold nuggets left? We've got 2 gold nuggets. We're going to throw them in here so we can get more at our leisure. And in fact, we're going to do that right now. We're going to grab a few of these, and we're going to grab some more redstone. Excellent. Hop down here. And let's see if this guy will automatically... Yes, it will. Okay, we've got our 2 power management devices. Once again, throw one up here so we have it at our leisure. And we should have everything we need for our modular socket. Look at that. So everything we built gave us 2. So we could have, well, except for the chest and the bucket. So we could have made 2 of these guys. But what we're going to do is we're going to throw it into here. Now we can grab 1, 2, 3. And actually, I think we will need to build 2 of them for this episode, for the 2 machines that we're going to be building. But that's our 2 modular sockets done. And next up, what we're going to need to build, let me check this off my list over here, and now we're going to need to build a wrench, a very specific wrench. Well, actually, I'm pretty sure all the wrenches can work with each other in this pack, so you could use the normal wrench, or this wrench. We're going to use the Engineer's Toolbox, or the Engineer's Toolbox wrench, and it's just going to be a button and 3 pieces of iron. So 3 pieces of iron, that's pretty straightforward. Hop up here and type in iron. 1, 2, 3. Now a button, believe it or not, I can't even remember how to build one of those, but I think it requires stone, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe like a button. You would think I would know how to do this. Oh, 1 piece of stone creates a button. And that's worth 1 EMC. Awesome. Well, now we have the recipe for buttons set to go if we need more of those later. So we're going to build a few buttons. We're going to put our stone in there, and there you go. Engineer's wrench. Nifty. Got that out of the way. Now we're going to have to build a device called a remote. Now, I haven't really explained this mod yet, so some of you are going to get a little confused. But trust me on this one, it'll all make sense once we have everything built. So we're going to build our socket remote next. It's going to require a blank module, an ender pearl, and an electronic circuit. So the electronic circuit is very straightforward. We can just type in probably... Yep, there we go. We've already built one of those, so we've got that out of the way. Next up, a blank module is going to require some glass panes, some dyes, and it doesn't look like it matters what kind of dyes we get here as long as we have... Yeah, as long as we have a red one, a green one, and a blue one. A couple pieces of glowstone, and a modular chassis. Now, for whatever reason, glass panes do not have an EMC value, so we're going to go ahead and just grab 3 of those. We are going to... We're going to have to get some glowstone, 2 pieces of that. We're going to need 1 of these machine chassis. We're going to need some various dyes. Now, we're going to need a green dye. We are going to need a red dye, and we're going to need a blue dye. So lapis we've got. And then for a red dye, I believe you can probably use just the red, yeah, the rose. So do we have any of that? No, we don't. Maybe it's in this chest? Pretty sure I got the flowers. Flowers can't be too hard to find, though. We can probably pop right outside, even though it is sunset currently, and find a flower or 2 lying around, right? One would think. I feel strongly about this. I could be wrong, though. Let's just pop around and see if we can't find a flower. I see a yellow flower down there, but that's not what we need. We need a red flower. Ah, red flower located. And I'm heading in to grab it. Excellent. We can turn that poppy into rose red. That's the mistake we were making. Does a poppy, just a straight up poppy, have an EMC value? It certainly does. So we're going to go throw both of these items into our transmutation table. If I'm not mistaken, I should probably already have a poppy in here. I certainly did. Well, now we've got the rose red in there as well. And the last thing we're going to need is some cactus green. So let's see if we have cactus. We certainly do have some cactus. And I think a cactus green is just... How do we get cactus green from this guy? Looks like we have to... I bet you we have to smelt it. We sure do. Let's go ahead and do that then. And we're going to need a piece of charcoal for that. So charcoal. And it's a bit of a waste to only cook up 1 item, but since charcoal is only 32 EMC, it's not that bad, and I don't feel too bad about wasting it. So we're going to go ahead and wait for that. While we wait for that, get some rose red. I think we can just use lapis as is in the recipe. There we go, cactus green. Once again, I'm going to throw it in here so we can get more later as we need it. And that should be everything we need for this particular recipe. Yeah, it certainly is. We get 12 of those. Goodness gracious. Well, we're going to throw at least 1 of them in here. And we're going to use the rest down here. And is that everything that we needed for this? No, we're also going to need an ender pearl. Well, that'll be easy. Philosopher's stone and 4 pieces of iron. I've already got 1 piece of iron. We're going to need some more. So iron. 1, 2, 3. Combine that with the 1 we already have. And I believe that these recipes are shapeless. So as long as we just have 4 of them up there, yep, we'll get our ender pearl. And you guys know the drill by now. Throw it in here so we've got it later. Get it back out. And we should now be able to build our remote. There you go, socket remote. So that's the next step down. Now we have our little modular sockets, which we can put anywhere we want to. And I guess what I'm going to do is I'm going to place them right over here in front of this window. That'll be nice. There and there. And these guys are really cool. So these are sort of like blank machines. These are... you can do whatever you want to with them. They've got these little sockets so you can plug different things into them. Inside of them, they've got 3 inventories for storing items, 3 inventories for storing liquids, and 1 massive battery that can store 5,000 RF. That's redstone flux, which is the power that these guys run on, which you should be familiar with from other mods. What we're going to do is we're going to make them generate power using something called a solar panel. So, obviously... that shouldn't be much of a surprise. There's a specific one we need to build, though, and that's going to be the Engineer's Toolbox solar panel. And as you can see, the recipe isn't too bad. It's some daylight sensors, a power management device, and an energy input socket, which we already have most of the things to... And no, we actually have all the things we need to build that right here, right now. Let's go ahead and build one. Look at that. And guess what? It has an EMC value. That's the coolest thing about all the items in the Engineer's Toolbox, is they all have an energy... or they all have an EMC equivalent value. So you can just toss them in there and get the items out at your leisure. So we've got the 2 of these. We're going to be building 2 of these guys. We're going to need a power management device. Guess what? Been there, done that. Got the 2 of those. These, of course, stack. We're going to need some daylight sensors. Now, this is going to be the tricky one because it requires some oak slabs, or any type of slab, really, some glass, and some nether quartz. And unfortunately, we don't have any nether quartz. Now, is there a way to make it? There might be a way to make it. We could get out of this pretty easy. Nether quartz. Okay, so if we had some nether quartz, we could... Yep. Nope, definitely looks like we're going to have to find some nether quartz. So, you folks up for a bit of an adventure in the nether? A little late night adventure to the nether? I think, whether you're ready or not, we're going to have to go do it. So, let's just go get it done. Yeah. Nowhere else in the world will we find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy than right here in the Nether, where we've also found some Nether Quartz. We only need a couple of pieces. Well, we might as well go ahead and grab quite a bit of it since we're here. Oh, it's gonna blow up. So that's something that things in the Nether sometimes do, is they blow up when sometimes things get shot at you. Please don't put out my Nether portal, I'm begging you. Take me home, please. Take me home, please, fast. Goodness gracious. Well, that was close. That was a fun one. Hope you folks enjoyed that little adventure. Gonna grab a piece of charcoal yet again and probably throw it in here. We seem to use this furnace a lot. I just now noticed that this is not my Minecraft skin. For whatever reason, my Minecraft skin is not working, and it upsets me. Oh well, let's get our solar panel recipe back up there. We should have at least 1 quartz, which we can throw in here, and we can get more out. You guys are starting to see a pattern here, I hope. All right. Let's go ahead and build this guy. So 3, and then we're gonna need 3 glass and 3. Okay, so glass, 1, 2, 3, and then I'm not sure if we have any slabs. Oh, but we do. Look at that, 3 slabs. There we go, daylight sensor, and we're gonna need, I think, 7 of these. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Amazing. And that should do it right there, our solar panel. It, of course, has an EMC value, so we'll throw it in here. And like I said, we're going to build 2 of these, so we're going to get 1, 2. And now we're going to grab some glowstone. We're going to need, I think, 8 pieces of glowstone for what we're about to do. We're going to make a couple of blocks. So we're going to throw them up here. There we go, 2 glowstone blocks. And we're going to take our solar panels, and they can only be placed on the top of the modular sockets. These guys have 6 different ports you can plug into, but the solar panels will only go on top. And if we take a look at them, you'll see that they're not really generating any RF. And that's because they're not outside under the sun. But if we place glowstone not there, mistakes were made. That wasn't intentional. But if you place glowstone on top of them, you can see the solar panels are now getting plenty of light to start generating energy, which is really cool because it means that you don't have to place these outside to generate energy. You can build them right in the comfort of your own home and just throw some glowstone on top of them, and they'll start generating some RF, which is incredible. Lots of redstone flux being created right now. Now, what do? We now have these weird modular sockets. They're generating energy. Well, now we turn them into machines, my friends. We're going to build what's called an item extractor. That's going to be the first thing we're going to build. So we're going to look that up real fast. Type in extractor. We're going to look for this guy here. Now, there's a fluid extractor and an item extractor. Make sure you build the one you mean to build. Blank module, a trapdoor, and a hopper, which is just some iron, and a chest. Very straightforward. We can build this in a heartbeat. We're going to grab our iron out of here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to grab our chest. Awesome. We're also going to have to build a trapdoor, which is going to require, I believe, some planks. Have I ever built a trapdoor? Yes, it's definitely planks. There are certain things in vanilla Minecraft that I just don't really build a whole lot of because I play so much modded Minecraft. So we're gonna have our iron chest. Guess what we're gonna do with our hopper? If you guys guessed throw it in here, you are correct. That's exactly what we're gonna do with it. We're then going to build our trapdoors. Can you guess what we're gonna do with that extra trapdoor? Yes, look at this. You guys, y'all are following along. Great. So we're gonna have our trapdoor, our hopper, and our blank pattern, and that is wrong because we put them in the wrong order. There we go. Item extractor. We're going to need 2 of these, 1 for each machine. So once again, get 2 of them. We're going to throw 1 on this side. We're also going to throw 1 on this side. Now this is where the remote comes in handy. You see, inside of here, we have, like I said, 3 inventories for holding items. And if you look on the side here, that's what these little colored dots represent. And we've got to tell this guy which inventory it's going to communicate with. Now this might seem a little complicated, but just roll with me on this. We're going to shift right click on our remote until we get to green, and then we're going to tell this guy inventory 1. That's where we want you to focus on. Now we're going to need a chest. So we'll get a chest out of our change mutation table, and we're going to plop it down. Make sure you go ahead and set your channel before you do this, but as you can see right there, boom, done. So now this device here, this modular socket, is set up to using the item or the energy, what did I call it? An energy input energy extractor. Item extractor. It's going to pull items out of this chest and drop them into its first slot for item holding. Now, what's it going to do with it once it gets them? Well, I'll tell you, my friends. It is going to, well, let's not spoil the fun. Let's first build some more item outputs. Now this is going to take items out when they're done, and it's going to require a dropper and a trapdoor. Dropper is just some stone and some redstone. Now some of you guys, you may be getting upset with me. You're like, Cup, you're not explaining what you're doing. We don't understand the purpose of all this. Just go ahead and take my word for it. It's going to be really cool when you see where this is all going, okay? So we're going to build some redstone, get our dropper. We're also going to need a trapdoor. I wish there was a way to, like, link these two items together. I don't know if there is one, though. We now got our trapdoor, hopper, blank pattern, item dropper, or I'm sorry, item output. Throw it in here, and then get it back out. Just type in item. Whoop. We need 2 of those once again. Blop. Blop. Excellent. So we're getting there. We've almost got everything we need here. Let's see what's up next on the agenda. We're going to go ahead and set this guy here to channel 1, and we're going to set this guy here to 2 on the output. And this isn't going to make any sense to you guys. I understand that, and I'm really sorry about it, but you just got to take my word on this one. It's going to be really cool. So some of you might be confused. Let me go ahead and just walk you through the process I've set up here. We've got a chest, we've got a modular socket, we got another chest, another modular socket, and another chest. The way this is going to work is we've got that item extractor. It's going to extract items out of the chest and putting them into this socket's first inventory slot. Then we've got an output. It's going to output items from the second inventory slot into this chest, where the process will be repeated here. Input dropped into number 1, and then output from number 2. What's going to happen to the items when they get inside of here? Well, that's for us to decide. The first thing we're going to build is a device called a grinder module. So let's look that up. Grinder, some of you have probably already guessed where this is going. It's going to require emery, which does not have an EMC value, unfortunately, a diamond, a blank module, and a power management device. Fortunately for us, we have a diamond. We have a power management device, and we've already got a blank module. Emery, I've got plenty of. I've collected it during the gathering of resources portion of my series. We've got our grinder. I'm going to put it here. Excellent. And we're going to tell it we want you to take items out of the first inventory. So items are going to be taken from the chest and dropped into the first inventory, where this guy will then take them out of the first inventory and process them. And then it doesn't say it, but what it's going to do when it's done processing them is drop it into the second inventory. This guy will pull items out of the second inventory and drop into the chest, where they will then be taken into the first inventory of this machine, which, if you've guessed where we're going with all this, is going to be our furnace. Now let's see. Is it called a furnace module? Oh yeah, it is right there. Furnace module is going to be bricks, furnace, power management, and a blank. You guys, you see there's kind of a power pattern with a lot of these machines. So we're going to need our power management device. We're going to need, I believe it said a furnace. Yeah, just a furnace, which I don't have in here, but we can just grab one of these. Grab 2 of them, in fact, since they're not getting used for anything. Now, the only thing on here I don't believe we have is bricks, because bricks are going to require some clay, and I don't believe I have any clay, unless I found clay, and I don't remember finding clay. I certainly don't remember. Yeah, we don't have clay. Guess what, folks? We're going to have to take a break from this fun series to go out. And do I have any sticks? Don't even have any sticks. We're going to have to go out and find some clay, which is fine. A short adventure might do us some good. So I'm going to build a shovel to go collect clay with using some ruby. Look at that nice bright red shovel. And let's see if Thunderhooves is up for another adventure. There's a river not that far away from here, Thunderhooves. If you could just get us down the mountain in like a timely manner, it would be appreciated. Look at us go. Let's just Thunderhoof our way down here to this little river. And there's bound to be clay in it. There's lots of clay in rivers. Do you guys remember way back in the day, back in like, I guess it was Minecraft beta, back when it was really hard to find clay? And now it's just like all up in the rivers? Except for right now, when we need it. Now it's going to be difficult to find. Ah, this looks like clay. This is certainly clay. So, thanks to the magic of equivalent exchange, or I guess in this case, Project E, clay, we only need to get a little bit of. If I hop up here, yeah, it's going to have an EMC value. Of course it is. All right. Thank you, Thunderhooves. Take me back home. Goodness gracious, look at the way he just gallops his way up the side of a mountain, for crying out loud. Oh man, if I didn't know any better, I would say you're a bit more than a horse. You're my friend. Thank you for being my friend. That's Thunderhooves, everybody. Big round of applause for Thunderhooves. We're going to throw him back in his... We need to build a gate. That needs to be a thing that we do. We should probably do that. I'll probably do it between episodes, because no one wants to watch me build a gate. I'm going to take this over here, throw at least one piece in there. I'm going to get another piece of charcoal. This whole thing is just kind of me going to get item, throw in here, add charcoal, I'm okay with that. Like, don't misunderstand. It just doesn't bother me any. But if you guys are getting bored, comment down below and just say, Cub, I'm bored and confused. You haven't properly explained what you're doing yet, and I'm going to laugh at you. Because you know what? It's going to be amazing when we figure it out. So we're going to get our, I think, 8 pieces to create... Oh, actually, what I just realized is these bricks will have an EMC value. So we'll just throw it all in there. And then we'll get 2 pieces of brick. Awesome. And that's all we needed for our recipe to build our furnace. Yep, it looks like we've got everything we need here. So furnace, please. Cool, we've got our furnace module. We're going to plug it in here. Now, if you've set this up the same as me, we'll set this to 1. This should be set to 1 already. Did I set this before placing that chest? I believe that I did. Can't see it now, so it's too late. What about this one here? Did I set it to 2? I did. Okay. So if everything works the way I'm thinking it should, we're going to take a piece of iron, and we're going to throw it into this chest. Yep, it's going to get sucked into here, where it's now draining power because it's doing something. Yeah, we can't actually see inside of these machines. Oh, should be dropped in there and should go in here now. Ideally. Did it? Did it do its thing? Has it spit the item out? Folks, I just figured out what I did wrong, and it's actually kind of embarrassing. I built these guys here. If we use our wrench, we can right-click and take them out. Now fly over here. I built these item outputs, which is not what we need, and I'm terribly sorry for causing this confusion. What we actually need is a machine output, which we're not going to get from here because we haven't built one yet. But if we type up here, machine output, this is what we need. It's a little bit different. It's going to need a dispenser. And yeah, I thought that there was a bow involved in this process, and I'm not sure what led me astray, but not to worry. We can build a correct one by just getting some string, getting some sticks. I'm sure you guys have built bows before. Very straightforward recipe. There we go. We'll get our bow, toss it in here, and we're going to need to build 2 of these. So let's see, bow. We're going to need some cobble. Get a stack of that and some redstone. We'll get a stack of that as well. Overkill, yes, but effective. Hello. Build. Not building. Okay. We'll put it all in there ourselves. Done it wrong. Cobblestone, bow, redstone. Are y'all seeing the... dispenser, everyone. There we go. Pull these out. Toss that up in here. And we're going to need a dispenser, module, and a hopper. Okay. Bring those down here. Combine them together to get our machine output. And this is bad. I can't believe I forgot this. But we're going to put that on the side of our devices now. And we're going to set that to 2. There we go. And now, when we place down our chests, it should work this time, I think. So let's grab some more, I can't believe it, iron. We'll throw that in here. Alrighty, folks, I finally got it working. I've done a couple of test runs with it just to make sure I've got it right this time. So I'm going to break these chests. I'm going to show you guys exactly what's going on this time. And that way you can set it up just like this at home. So we've got our item extractor right here set on 1. We've got our grinder right here set on 1. And we've got our machine output set on 2. So we're going to put a chest down here and a chest down here. You'll notice that we don't have the furnace hooked up just yet. I'm going to show you that in a second, but if we put a piece of iron in here, it'll automatically get sucked into the machine, which has its own energy source, which is pretty cool, and it'll begin to grind away at it, and once it is done, it'll spit it out into this chest, and we'll know it's done. Yeah, there it goes. That gives us a ground iron ore. Now, we're going to take that ground iron ore, we're going to put another item extractor here, set it to channel 1, make sure that our furnace is set to channel 1, and that our machine output over here set to channel 2, and when it's done, it should output not 1, I say, but 2 pieces of iron. That's right, a single ground up piece of iron can be furnaced into 2 iron ingots. So what we basically have here is a macerator and an electric furnace, except for, to automate it, we don't need any pipes, we just need a few sockets, the correct sockets set up in the correct way. So what makes this better in my mind than Industrial Craft 2? Well, first off, it's much more compact, sort of, and you don't need a bunch of pipes. You can use pipes and things with it, though. And that works just fine. You don't need a separate power source. In this case, we're just using the solar panels, and we can build actually a string of these using these sockets with nothing but solar panels in them to create more energy. We can add a little energy expansion device, probably to the back or to the bottom of these so they can store more power. and we can just string them up to work in a perfect line for processing all of our iron. It's really neat. Now, it's a little complicated because you do have to deal with channels. Like I said, each of these has 3 internal slots for storing items, and you have to configure it to make sure it's using the correct slot, and it can be a little complicated, but once you kind of get used to it, I really like it. I think it's a really great system. Now, saying that, like I said, I'm no expert on it. I'm still learning it just like everyone else, which is probably why this episode has a bit more fumbly and mumbly than I would have liked. But I think it's a really great mod. We're going to be looking into it more. If you don't like it, though, guess what? Stick around, because next episode, we're going to be looking at how to do this exact same setup with Industrial Craft 2. So I hope you guys will stay tuned for that. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and a shout out to our executive producer who helped make all this possible. See you guys in the next one. Bye. Oh, Micah, I'm going to fix our pig problem once and for all.
Wait, I got to see this. Hold on. Don't do anything yet.
It's like Star Wars out here, man.
Whoa.
Oh, it pre-cooks the pork.